What's up, football fans? Welcome into NFL Daily by Chat Sports. My name is Moose, and on today's show, Mr. Adam Schefter dropping some more rumors just 3 days before the 2025 NFL Draft. So naturally, all of these rumors are going to be exactly about that, some NFL Draft rumors. Now, before we get into the nitty-gritty, the details of today's show, help us out. Lock us in. Hit subscribe. We need to hit 406,000 followers before the start of the draft on Thursday night. And that's only 32 subs away. So go ahead, hit that big sub button, completely free, by the way, and lock us in. Let's start with the first little rumor nugget that we've got on today's show about Shedeur Sanders, who, by the way, this last weekend had his number retired at the University of Colorado, along with his teammate Travis Hunter. Both of these guys going to be first-round picks in the 2025 NFL Draft. Travis, probably going to go 2 or 3. Shedeur, that remains to be seen. But here's what Adam Schefter had in his most recent article about the Shedeur Sanders sort of situation going on. Now, at the NFL level, says Schefter, he will be without his father's presence in football for the very first time. He will also have to adapt to his new life the way some players do when they go from high school to college. This, in the eyes of some, will actually be an opportunity for Sanders to grow, continue to learn, and take his game to an even higher level. Now, I think it's a little dramatic, right? It's a little bit different considering Shedeur's a grown adult. So it's not like he's going under the watchful eye of his father and living with his dad to, all of a sudden this newfound freedom. Shedeur has kind of been his own man, albeit playing for his dad the last few years at Colorado and before that at Jackson State. But let's talk about Shedeur the player here for a second, because in 2024, he put up some insane numbers. And this is behind a terrible Colorado Buffalo offensive line. He put up 4,100 yards, 41 total touchdowns. He did throw 10 interceptions, but a 4-to-1 touchdown to interception ratio is pretty damn good. And his entire career, he's been very, very solid, especially from the pocket. We're talking about a guy who has made his bread and butter living inside of the pocket and making moves happen by manipulating that pocket, moving side to side, moving up, and making his throws. It does help when you have a receiver like Travis Hunter to throw to every single game. But a little bit more about Shedeur. He's an incredibly accurate quarterback. He is a 74% completion percentage in 2024, which is outstanding, especially considering he was behind such a bad offensive line, which means he's throwing on the run multiple times when that pocket collapses. Now, the one part I will say about Shedeur's game that's not very good, he's got very average arm strength. His physical traits aren't that great, and he's not the greatest athlete, but then again, outside of a very select few, Mahomes, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, who really is that great of an NFL athlete at quarterback? Maybe Justin Fields as well. I want my quarterback living inside of the pocket. That's where you're going to make your money happen. That's where you're going to get that second contract. And as you get older and athleticism declines, you have to learn how to manipulate the game from the pocket and get rid of the ball lightning quick. Well, he's already got that part to his game kind of narrowed down. It's not something that he has to relearn how to do. He will have to do it at the best level. And remember, you're playing the best of the very best. Each one of the guys in the NFL were the best players on their college teams. So as I look at Shedeur as the prospect, I say all of the traits to succeed are already there. It's just going to be the, stereotypical growing pains as a rookie. Now, where does Schefter, giggity. Where does Schefter have Shedeur going in his most recent article? Well, he named 3 particular teams. The New York Giants being one of them at 3, the New Orleans Saints at 9, and the Pittsburgh Steelers at 21. Personally, I think Shedeur is probably your most likely bet. You've got a brand new head coach in Kellen Moore. He's already won a Super Bowl, so he has a very, very easy-to-learn offense, and I feel like it's a match made in heaven considering he's brand new. You're bringing in a rookie. Both of them can kind of grow together. I think New Orleans is probably the best spot, with the Steelers being a very, solid option if the Saints decide to go with another draft prospect. So where do you think Shedeur Sanders will be drafted? Just let me know in the comment section below. Like I said, I'm penciling it in for New Orleans, but if you have another team that you think makes more sense, let me know in the comment section below. All right, on to our second rumors nugget. The one quarterback that has had his draft stock absolutely skyrocketed. And he's not a young spring chicken anymore. In fact, he's probably going to be one of the oldest rookies that have ever come into the game. His name is Tyler Shough, quarterback from Louisville. Now, I will give you this about Shough. He's had a very tumultuous college career. Perseverance is something that he completely understands. He's a seventh-year senior and just recently completed his full first season as a college quarterback with 12 games played. So just take a look at what he did last year at Louisville. Excuse me. Not the most accurate, but again, it's a 3.5, 4-star school. It's not the, powerhouse of the SEC that you're looking for. But outside of that, he was very serviceable. 24 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, and the last 4 seasons, as I alluded to, he has yet to complete a full season. So this should be some kind of caution for teams to draft him. Now, with that being said, he does have the age factor on his side. He's got the NFL traits that you're looking for. And reports are indicating that although people are apprehensive about drafting Shough because of his age, I still think that if there's an NFL-ready team to have a quarterback start week 1, he'd be one of those players that could probably learn the offense and adapt to the game very, very quickly. Now, that being said, I don't think he's a round 1 pick, but maybe early round 2, late round 2, or at latest early round 3. Now, I kind of put together some places, and you'll notice that it's actually very similar to the ones that we had listed before, with the addition of the Cleveland Browns, who I don't think anybody needs to know or needs to guess what their quarterback situation is like with that awful Deshaun Watson contract, and he's most likely not going to be playing in the entire 2025 season. So that leaves Kenny Pickett and Joe Flacco, who they recently signed, as your quarterback 1 battle heading into training camp. So I'm going to ask you this question before I give you my thoughts and opinions about where Shough will end up. Where or will he be drafted in round 1? I'm going to say no. Early round 2, I think, is where you're going to find him, especially because it's not a very deep quarterback class. I don't expect more than 2 quarterbacks other than Cam Ward and Shedeur Sanders to go in round 1. But like I said, coming up, I will give you my prediction for where Tyler Shough is going to end up. And spoilers, probably one that you're not going to love considering their recent quarterback history. But before we get into that, I want to give a major shout out to our friends over at Game Time. They are the official ticketing partner of NFL Daily. Go ahead and download the Game Time app today. Super easy to do. It's that black box with the white G in it, and download the Game Time app. Let me tell you a little bit more about them. They make tickets so much faster and easier. Prices, believe it or not, on the Game Time app actually go down the closer you get to first pitch. And baseball has started up. And there's nothing I love more than going to a nice spring game to watch my Chicago Cubs when I'm back up in Chicago. And with killer last-minute deals, all-in prices, and views from your seat, they offer their lowest prices guarantee. It makes getting all those tickets super easy and takes the guesswork out of buying them. You could save up to 60% off by buying last minute for sports, concerts, comedy events, and theater. Let me tell you about their all-in pricing tool. Toggling this feature actually shows the total up front with no surprise fees at checkout. I can't tell you how angry I get when I go to buy tickets, and they're like, here's a fee-fi-fo-fum fee for you, just for throwing on for shits and giggles. So download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Again, terms apply. Create an account and redeem code CHATSPORTS, that's CHATSPORTS, for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest prices guaranteed. So the Cleveland Browns, in my opinion, are going to be interested in the Shough market. I think that you could start Flacco at the beginning of the season because, let's be honest, he's going to beat out Kenny Pickett. And then you could ride with the kid. And, looking at the Browns quarterback room, it's not the greatest, especially because considering the guy that's not going to be playing for you is going to be the guy that's actually quarterback 3 on this depth chart. You've got Joe Flacco, Kenny Pickett, and Deshaun Watson as your 3 quarterbacks. I think they make the most sense to, at least the Cleveland Browns do, in my opinion, to draft a quarterback in the second round after taking someone like Abdul Carter or Travis Hunter with the second overall pick. It just makes too much sense. So in my opinion, when they draft Tyler Shough, and I'm saying when because I think that strongly about it, he'll start in week 7 or week 8. They don't want to have him sit for another year and risk him turning another year older before he gets the start. But give him half the season to kind of learn behind an NFL veteran like Joe Flacco, then hand over the keys. You see it happen all the time with bridge quarterbacks, and truthfully, I think that's why they brought back in Flacco. They want him to be that veteran president. God, I cannot speak today. Presence that can mentor a player like Shough coming in, and then once he gets enough reps in practice, throw him into the game and let it ride the rest of the way. Now, our last little bit of rumor knowledge for you. What surprise player could go top 10? I'm scanning through this article made by Schefter, and I came across one name that he started at the end of round 1 about a month ago, then moved up to the middle of round 1, and now is being linked to a team in the top 10. His name's Jahdae Barron, cornerback out of Texas. My number 1 corner, by the way, in this draft over Will Johnson from Michigan. Now, Barron, according to a multitude of different draft analysts, is one of the best cornerback prospects we've seen in quite some time. So let's just take a look at what the scouting report is. He's got great ball skills. He's a willing tackler, plenty of experience in college. Now, he's not huge, and he does have some length concerns, but all that, kind of baked in, he was phenomenal at Texas last year. 67 tackles. He can stop the run, 3 tackles for loss, 16 pass breakups, and 5 interceptions. So those zone coverage skills have certainly been on display for Barron, and I loved every single answer that he gave at the 2025 NFL Combine. He's a down-to-earth kid, understands where he comes from and what his position will be in the NFL day 1. He's lightning fast, ran a 4.3 40. I love him. I love him as a prospect. Now, what's the team that has been linked to him? Can you believe it? The New York Jets. Every single mock draft I've seen has them selecting Armin Membu. And then all of a sudden, Schefter goes, you know what, actually? They could be eyeing Jahdae Barron at pick number 7. So at first I'm like, they really need to solidify the offensive line. But then the question becomes, if they do take Jahdae Barron, on the opposite end of Sauce Gardner, is that one of the best cornerback duos in the league? I mean, they just got rid of DJ Reed. He ended up with the Lions in free agency. So it's kind of starting to make a little bit of sense that they could be eyeing a corner, especially one with as high upside as Barron does. So I'm going to ask you to pick a player for me. This is kind of for the Jets. If you think the Jets should go with Armin Membu and solidify that offensive line, type A. If you think Jahdae Barron and solidify that cornerback 2 position, type J. Or if they should go with another prospect, type your O in. I still think Armin Membu, but I'm giving it the slightest of nods. It was way up there, and now it's kind of shrunk back to almost 50-50. That's going to do it for us on today's episode. Remember to like the video. It's free. Subscribe, and send this to some NFL fan in your life. We are just 3 days away from the NFL draft. I am so unbelievably excited. My name is Moose. Until next time, be cool.